welcome back everyone, it's Balls Deep! And... do I even have to say it? Do I?
No.
Well, we did it guys! Our Balls Deep prediction hockey is just way too powerful!
Last time on
Anime Balls Deep.
How Luffy's devil fruit is not the Gomu Gomu no Mi, rather it's related to Wisdom King Zoan fruit. Luffy's devil fruit is connected to JOYBOY and even comprises of his essence of some sort. Okay, but seriously, if you don't know what I'm talking about, well, everything we have been saying for the past year and more literally came true. Luffy being JOYBOY, Luffy's Gear 5th being his awakening, Luffy possessing the legendary Zoan Devil Fruit of an HITO HITO no Mi, mythical model Nika, which JOYBOY also possessed, all came into fruition, and truly these past few weeks have been more than incredible for anime as a whole. Everyone in the One Piece community has been amazing, and chapter 1044 literally broke the internet as Oda finally revealed his years long foreshadowed plot. Honestly, I can't even smile more than I am. I know all of you felt the same. You know that weird uncontrollable grin we had whilst reading this massive reveal. It's like the smile and joy Luffy gained was translated into all of us. But for this banger of a chapter, we have a lot to discuss, as in this video we'll be breaking down what exactly happened in chapter 1044, along with explaining how Luffy's true devil fruit, the HITO HITO no Mi mythical version Nika, works. Getting right into the chapter, we see Luffy talking as the sound of drums are getting louder. This sound is likely to be Luffy's heart pumping at an incredible speed, giving off a loud sound similar to that of a drum. This drumming sound, dubbed by the ginormous elephant Zunisha, is the sound of liberation, because JOYBOY, who had the same fruit Luffy possessed at this current moment, also must have activated this mode whilst he was liberating the races in his own era and fighting the oppressors. Zunisha pretty much confirms all of that in the last chapter. Now during this process, Luffy is also surprised at what is happening. 1 second he was essentially dead, and now he has gotten up like nothing has happened throughout the whole night. No damage, nada. Instead, he says he suddenly feels like a lot of fun. Huh? Yes guys, Luffy seems to have awakened after the massive L he has taken from Kaido. With a surge of haki, we see black lightning sprout on the top of Onigashima. Momo looks up and asks Zunisha, is by JOYBOY, does he mean Luffy? Yamato is also shocked as she knows JOYBOY from the Odin's journal. Similarly, at the pleasure hall, Sanji gets up after he senses something. He looks up and then figures out that it's Luffy. Everyone is shocked on the live floor too. Kid, Law, Hyuguro, they all are stunned. Marco also tells Nami and Tama that Luffy isn't dead, he's alive. Tama and Nami hugs as their captain isn't down yet. Luffy has kept his promise. This happiness and joy being displayed by everyone with Luffy's awakening goes back to JOYBOY himself, as we all know and had depicted JOYBOY to be an extremely jolly person that smiled all the time. In fact, even the story and treasure he left on the final island made Roger and his crew laugh so much that they dubbed the final island Laugh Tale. And if you think about it, JOYBOY's name itself might have been given to him because of the devil fruit's effect. But before I move forward, guys, we have not forgotten about Zoro. Out of everyone, some reason he isn't being depicted. The last we saw of him was with a freaking Shinigami. Like, why is he dead? Like, is it really? Come on, Oda. Come on, Oda. Don't do this to us. No, but seriously, guys, I'm pretty sure that he's going through his own journey, which we could all assume will ascend him to the next realm of a swordsman. We then cut to Marijoa, where the Gorosei continues to talk about the devil fruit from chapter 1037. They wonder if losing one of their top agents and angering Kaido was worth it to subdue Luffy, but the Gorosei with the dreadlocks states that it was worth it due to the danger Luffy might have posed in the future. The one with the sword replies that the world government has been trying to get the Gomu Gomu no Mi in every era, however it always slips away from them. They have been trying to capture this fruit since JOYBOY's time 800 years ago, but they have been unsuccessful. The Gorosei with the spot on his head continues that Zoan fruit have been seen to influence the users as if it does have a will of its own. Now this is quite interesting, as we have previously seen Zoan fruits having an influence on the users in this story. Let's not forget, if you go back to Water 7 and and Eni's lobby, after Kaku eats the giraffe fruit, his personality did kind of, seem to change, as if the fruit had an influence on him. He goes from a cold-hearted killer in Water 7 to arguing with Jabra in Eni's lobby, and let's not forget his fight against Zoro. His personality did seem very different. There are various other examples, but the fact that Zoan devil fruits do share their innate instincts and personalities with the users was even shown and memed in the community during the Wano arc. Let's not forget about the ancient Zoan users of the Tobiropo having the ancient dinosaur fruit. They would mimic how they used to hunt, as we saw with Sasaki and even King. Let's not forget freaking Queen and the weird stuff that he was going through. The same with Black Maria with her webbing and luring her prey onto her webs, hunting like an ancient spider with her fruit. They all somehow know and act like the animal zones they possess. This could reflect to Kaido and his fruit too. Being a dragon is very much depicted in his personality, but this understanding of Zoan fruits carrying the spirit of its respective creatures was eluded by Dr. Vegapunk's experiment to imbue Zoan fruits to inanimate objects. Like that was the proof itself that these fruits did have some sort of personality. Think about it, look at Funkfried, a sword that ate a Zao Zao no Mi, a elephant fruit. Really? And it literally becomes an elephant and moves and lives? Come on, that just shows that the fruit itself is a living thing. But on that note, I actually have a theory on how Dr. Vegapunk was actually trying to recreate the very legendary devil fruit that Luffy ate. And all of this experiment links back to Luffy's fruit. I'll be dropping a video going more in detail on that, so make sure you check out our One Piece playlist and have that notification bell dinged so you don't miss out. Either way, the Gorosei continues with their conversation, saying that the actual name of the Gomu Gomu no Mi has to do with the name of a god, and its real name is actually the Hito Hito no Mi, model Nika. And just like we told you guys last review, the Balls Day prediction hockey has come true. Luffy is JOYBOY and he has the Nika fruit. This information, as we already explained, was revealed to the Gorosei by Shanks as seen in chapter 907. However, Shanks knew Luffy was the perfect candidate for this fruit. He went to warn the 5 elders so they would stop in their ways, not so they were prepared. Remember, Shanks is a negotiator, a middle ground in the world of One Piece. His actions in the Marineford War is a testament to this. But as we turn the page, there is a massive spread, with Luffy joyously jumping as his silhouette is shown resembling the one we saw of Nika, but without weapons in hands. There is even a like-for-like backdrop of the moon as Luffy is laughing like crazy beneath the sound of the drum text. The Gorosei says that the user of the Hito Hito no Mi has a body with properties of rubber and he can fight in any ways he wishes, making people smile wherever he goes. He's the warrior of liberation, also known as the sun god Nika. Basically, this awakening will give the rubber body more strength and freedom, being the most ridiculous power in the world. Okay, now we have a lot to unpack here, so relax and listen up. First, much like I said in the last few videos, Luffy's devil fruit is a mythical Zoan type, and like Kaido and Marco, they have multiple facets of abilities. Marco can turn into a phoenix where he can fly and shit, but also can give off a fire that can heal. Kaido likewise with his Boro breath, I can go on and on and on. But to summarize, Luffy's body has the properties of rubber, but that's not all to his abilities. That's just one part of it. The essence of Luffy's devil fruit is literally freedom, to give it to everyone else and to its user. Luffy literally has the power of freedom in his hands. Well, literally is freedom, if you get what I'm trying to say. He had the power of freedom of flexibility in the terms of physical sense, where he can stretch any part of his body however he wanted. And now with his awakening, it seems like he has this flexibility with reality itself, where only his creativity is the limit, similar to how it was with his body. Now this is quite similar to every other awakening, as awakening is technically just sharing your innate devil fruit ability to your surroundings, and Luffy is doing exactly that. But because Luffy's devil fruit is not just rubber, he's not just sharing the properties of rubber to his surroundings, rather he's sharing much more, the essence of freedom. In fact, even the smile he carries was given to literally every one of his companions. But coming back to the idea that Luffy's devil fruit is literally flexibility, freedom, creativity, well, think about it. Who else would have thought to come up with the gears, huh? Only Luffy. Later on in the chapter, we see this power in action, where Luffy is turning everything around him into a freaking cartoon. Like Kaido's eyes are popping out and Luffy looks like Popeye from, Popeye the Sailor Man with funny ass arms and stuff. This is due to Luffy extending his flexibility to wherever he he touches from the ground to even Kaido himself. Now it all makes sense how JOYBOY or Nika would go around spreading laughter because he was literally a walking Cartoon Network. Now I saw a lot of people in the community saying that there needs to be like some drawback as Luffy will just speed run the entire story now with his ability. Well, did you guys forget about Blackbeard, whose ability poses a huge hurdle for Luffy? Yes, even though Luffy's power feels like it can just, only be halted by his creativity and limit and whatnot, in reality Oda has already come up with a perfect antagonist to give this story more balance. Blackbeard's Yami Yami no Mi literally cancels all Devil Fruit's power and can restrict Luffy's freedom with his fruit. This dynamic has already been set up, where it's the fruit with the black hole representing oppression and greed against Nika being the sun who brings the dawn and liberation. This fits perfectly with the narrative. With One Piece being in the endgame and Luffy beating Yonkos, it makes sense for him to blitz everyone except the biggest baddie, Blackbeard. And of course we have the unknown wearable like Imusama himself. Luffy's insane awakening will not instantly give him the ability to speedrun. Like, come on guys, we don't even know the drawbacks of Gear 5th. Remember, every time Luffy does something new, there is some sort of limitation. Let me know if you guys agree with me in the comment section below, because I saw quite a few people in the community saying that this makes Luffy way too strong. One Piece is mid now, yada yada yada.
Fuck you, bitch, shut the fuck up.
Now another quick point I wanted to mention is the resin theory from last week, where it could still come into play, with rubber's base state being resin, which if you guys don't know is a type of oil. It could still be that Luffy's ability of turning his surroundings into cartoonish visuals is just him turning things into rubber or a property like it, by rubbing out reality and oil painting the world around him. This is why Luffy can fight in such creative ways, as painting and drawing gives the artist the freedom to mold the world of how they want, since art is one of the highest forms of freedom. In fact, this takes me back when Oda was asked in the SBS about Luffy's power and strength becoming too strong as a shonen story progresses. How will his rubber ability develop? As you know, it's kind of a weak sounding power. Well, he answered saying he wanted to do something which will stand out amongst the other cool powers, and since there are so many unique abilities, he chose the goofiest one he could think of for his protagonist. He said he wouldn't have been able to handle a straightforward, cool, tough hero for such a long running manga. No matter how serious or dark the story gets, Luffy is still stretching and inflating, which gives Oda the chance to lighten the mood, as that's the type of manga he wanted to draw. Oda wanted freedom with Luffy's power, to be able to showcase the full strength of his creativity and art. He wanted to make everyone laugh even in the darkest times. So what's the best way to have fun drawing all of that? Well, that's to make your protagonist power be literally the freedom of expression. Yes guys, similarly to how Oda wanted the utmost freedom and fun whilst drawing his own manga. So Luffy with the Hito Hito no Mi model Nika is given this sense of freedom and creativity. Even later on, Luffy states that he feels like he can do anything. This isn't because Gear 5th gave him something completely new, rather it just awakened a better understanding of Luffy's fruit. This links back to earlier moments in One Piece, where Luffy has been doing anything he wanted. In fact, if you think about it, the gear system he came up with is exactly this. When the first time he saw Rokushiki technique Soru, he realized he needed a speed technique to match it, so he created Gear 2nd. Now, when Luffy needed to gain more strength and power, he created Gear 3rd by again manipulating his own body in a creative manner. And then even later in Thriller Bark, Luffy was able to absorb an incredible amount of shadows, which Lola testified was never done before. Luffy became Nightmare Luffy, which again was inspired and influenced by the things around him. Gear 4th he learnt after training with the wild animals. Luffy, after seeing their powers, specifically the gorilla and snake, he believed he needed to mimic them, which is where Boundman and Snake Man derived from. Now let's talk about Red Hawk. The first time everyone saw this was like, how the frick can this kid make fire from his bones, man? Is this rubber friction? What's going on? Listen, everything makes sense now, okay? Luffy idolized Ace, believing in his power. Naturally, I mean, he was his big brother, so he mimicked the technique of Ace in his own ways. But we have discovered more to Luffy's abilities and all the previous foreshadowings to how he used the Hito Hito no Mi the way it was supposed to, even before he understood what it is. If you guys want us to go balls let's deep into that, then smash the like button and get this video over 30,000 likes.
Alright, thank you, Yusuf. Now let me take over and actually do the review, because we're halfway through the video and we've only covered like 2 pages of the chapter. Anyways, we then move on to the treasure hall on the 2nd floor of Onigashima, where the Kage of the dumbasses himself, Orochi, is still trapped under some rubble. He cries for his life as the entire castle is shaking, telling Hiyori to remove the needles so they can both run away together. Honestly, at a point, you gotta be wondering how stupid a man could be. Well, it turns out a lot.
You stupid.
However, Hiyori is not buying Orochi's story, and she reminds Orochi of the promise him and Kaido made to Oden, stating, "My father kept his promise, right? For 5 years, my father was dancing in a funny way, suffering to save the citizens." Hiyori is talking about the deal that Orochi made to Oden in order for him to save as many people as he could and free the land of Wano. In chapter 971 of the manga, Shinobu made it clear to everyone that Orochi didn't want to lead the people of Wano to a better future. In fact, Orochi only wanted to be shogun so he could drive the country of Wano into ruin. Oden was about to go to war against Kaido and Orochi, but in doing so, more people in Wano could die than be saved. So Orochi proposed an offer. If Oden were to dance in a funny way for 5 years, every day 100 people would be released from being a slave. So once they were done building their ship in 5 years, they would just sail away and leave the country of Wano, you know. They got no purpose there. That was the promise which Hiyori mentions in this chapter. Oden actually kept and honored Orochi's word. But Orochi, being the snake-ass bitch Kage of the dumbasses he is, he didn't keep his end of the deal.
I have to break your neck. It's just the way it is.
Back to the chapter, Hiyori continues by saying that even after everything that Oden had to go through, he kept smiling and laughing. He endured all the pain from the entire country alone. He then sees a flashback of the time when Hiyori was just a child. Hiyori looks very sad and asks her dad if he's okay with everyone talk bad about him. Oden responds that everything is fine. Hiyori shouldn't worry about him, because his family is still by his side and that makes him happy. So they promise each other to always be together forever. As we come back to the present, Orochi says, "Oh yes, Oden was a great samurai. As a shogun, I shall honor your father." At this point, just like all of us, Hiyori has had it with this dude. She takes off her mask and with tears in her eyes, she screams at Orochi, "My name is Kozuki Hiyori and you're a bitch ass hoe." Yeah, that's what she said. Look at the panel. This makes Orochi mad, but Hiyori is not done talking yet, as she states that even if she had an empty stomach and had to put on broken fabric, she lived proud to be the child of Oden. Orochi is so scared at this point that he's like, "You're not gonna do anything to me, are you? After all, even if you kill me, you can't defeat Kaido." Bro, this guy needs to stop, man. He's been using Kaido's name and hiding behind it ever since we met him. Someone just needs to like... But suddenly, a little version of Kazenbo appears out of nowhere.
Who?
Remember Kazenbo? Him, the fire sperm dude?
Nope.
Anyways, so small Kazenbo shows up and tells Orochi that he failed. But Orochi doesn't give a crap and orders small Kazenbo to burn Hiyori until she dies. However, in one big twist of fate, Kazenbo, instead of going for Hiyori, he goes straight for Orochi, burning him alive. As he's burning, Hiyori, still with tears in her eyes, looks at him and says, "The dawn will come." All while Orochi is asking for Hiyori's help. Like, bruh, how down bad this dude can be. 1 second he's saying, "Oh, forgive me." Another second he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill you." and then again, a minute later, he's, "Oh, help me." But like a complete badass, Hiyori's last words to Orochi are, "The Kozuki house always keeps its promise." The end of the Kurozumi clan was foreshadowed way back in chapter 1030, when Orochi gave orders to Kanjuro to set everything on fire. He ordered Kanjuro to free them from the final blaze of glory. Notice how he said "us" in the panel, also including himself in the picture. This resulted in the pact of the Kurozumi clan, a pact that would result in Orochi's own demise. Kind of speaking to how Orochi sowed the seed all these years, betraying others and cheating everyone, that he himself, the Kage of the Dumbasses, was betrayed by his closest ally and family, Kanjuro, through his own words. In a sense, he betrayed himself. Back to the roof of Onigashima, there we see again the silhouette of Luffy with the full moon in the background. Dude, that looks like Nika, the picture of Nika we saw. Look at that. Luffy states that he feels like he can do anything he wants, once again linking back to the freedom that the devil fruit represents, which we explained earlier. Luffy's heart continues to beat like a drum as he says that his heartbeat sounds so fun. Guys, Balls Deep prediction hockey once again has come true. Luffy is a freaking car engine. Okay, but in all seriousness though, it's time for the moment we've all been waiting for. Luffy shouts, "This is my highest peak. This is Gear 5th!
Yes! 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 Yes!
Oh my god, bro, this is so freaking hype. Me and Yusuf, we were reading the panels, right? And we couldn't stop smiling when we saw this. Like, it's been 7 years since Gear 4th. We've been waiting so long. Like, this is the payoff of a 25-year journey. You know, he's about to beat the freaking Yonko. We then cut back to the live floor with a huge blast of color of the Supreme King Haki coming from above. A lot of black lightning pierces through the roof, and Kaido's subordinate, they begin to fall unconscious. And Kaido looks very worried looking at the roof. He wonders what the hell is on the roof that could cause this. In a huge double spread, we see that the roof begins to break and Luffy's arm appears through the hole, where the arm is freaking massive, almost mimicking Gear 3rd, but to a completely different level of size, as it grabs Kaido's body in his dragon form without difficulty, and everyone around looks astounded. Like, what is happening? We then see Chopper crying out of pure happiness that Luffy is still alive, contrasted to his despair in the last chapter. Remember when Kaido was telling everyone, "Oh, Luffy's there, you guys lost, GG bro." Nah bro, he's back. But let's be honest, Kaido thinks he's killed Luffy. Luffy pulls Kaido up the hole and we can finally see this epic fight where both combatants are actually serious and at full power.
What happened to the original plot of the movie?
Now, I know what some of you may be thinking. ABD, what the fuck? This is the final fight, right? With the Emperor of the Sea. The conclusion of years of buildup, and Luffy is making him look like a cartoon? Okay. Let me explain how perfect this actually is. As we went over earlier, the Hito Hito no Mi model Nika gives the user his true spirit, and Luffy just toying with this guy in this comical way is the most Luffy thing ever. Luffy then spins Kaido as his muscle mass increases in volume and starts spinning him wildly. This is the world's strongest creature, by the way, and Luffy is just playing with him like he's a freaking toy. He finally stops spinning Kaido where he's incredibly dizzy and he just starts slamming him back and forth into the ground. Again, like a cartoon for a while before finally letting Kaido go. Kaido gets up, clearly disoriented with literal stars around his head with a bump. Like this is some Looney Tunes. Luffy seems to be laughing as much as the readers right now, and even Oda drawing this shit was probably laughing because he was having fun drawing this. Kaido finally speaks, stating that, "Straw Hat, you are alive." He is delighted, thanking Luffy for being alive, before immediately trying to kill him again with his Boro breath. Luffy continues to laugh while he lies on the floor in his normal form once again, but when he sees Kaido use his Boro breath, he screams with his eyes popping out. Am I reading One Piece or watching Looney Tunes here? What is happening? Luffy grabs the ground with his hands and stretches it out, causing the ground to turn into rubber, which is similar to what people theorized about his awakening, turning things into rubber. And Luffy probably knows how to control this as he fought Katakuri, who had a fruit with similar properties to his rubber ability, and he probably learned it from there. Kaido's Boro breath hits the ground, but since it's now rubber, it doesn't get destroyed and holds back the attack. Luffy changes back to his muscled form and pulls the piece of ground, causing the Boro breath to bounce back to Kaido. There is a huge explosion and Luffy's body is fully revealed clearly. His appearance is still there, but there are some key differences. His appearance now seems to mimic the Monkey King, Sun Wukong. Ayo, what? Which we also already predicted in the video on screen. His eyebrow and hair are now like flames, and he has the collar type nimbus cloud around his neck. His eyebrows also take the shape of the crown from the actual Monkey King, which he's always depicted to have. Come on, you guys see what I'm talking about, right? Along with his eyes, Loki looking like Zunisha or Emu or even Hawkeye. Maybe that's the light that Kaido and Big Mom they were referencing in their flashback, like the light in their eyes. If you want to know more about this, make sure to hit that notification bell because me and Yusuf are doing a deep dive on Luffy's power and theorizing where this could lead to in a few days. So get this video to 30,000 likes and hit the notification bell to stay informed. Luffy laughs non-stop again as Kaido stands up. Gear 5th is officially represented with Luffy still laughing like a maniac. Kaido also then apologizes for the shenanigans which transpired before when they were on the roof, when Luffy was distracted by a member of CP0 and Kaido game-ended him, calling himself stupid and saying he did not want to win in such a way. Luffy then looks at Kaido with that trademark expression of determination and a smile telling him not to worry about it. That was like 5 minutes ago. I already forgot about it. And this is where the chapter ends, with Luffy telling Kaido, let's end this. Make sure to check out this video displayed to you on screen if you want more One Piece content from us. And holy crap, this chapter was freaking amazing.